Now, we're doing this Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Yeshiva Samanavshi in Yerushalayim here at Kodesh. We're located here at Chanukah Yeshiva's Beit Knesset, which is in Rehov Zikron Yaakov number 6, very close to the central bus station, so you can walk the bus, drive if you have a car. If you're coming from Chutz La'aretz, please fly in, join us for our shirim. We're now learning Mishna Berura, Hilchos Hanukkah, Taf Reish Ayin Zayin, and we're beginning the Dini Aksunoi B'Hanukkah, din of a guest during the days of Hanukkah, how he's supposed to light his menorah. Let's take a look at Sif Aleph in the Movavi. Amram, you have anything to start for us?
Yes.
Please.
From the beginning?
Yeah.
A guest who's not lighting in his house.
Meaning other people are not lighting. He is obviously not with his family. He's traveling, and he's not in his home, therefore to light. And no one in his home is lighting for him. They may be lighting for themselves, right? But they're not lighting for him. Okay.
Wouldn't it be logical for someone in his house? When they buy the light for him, so they know he's on the road?
Yeah, but we'll see. Very
lazy?
detailed.
Is this different as far as
Family's traveling, they're not home.
Is this different as Ashkenaz as far?
We'll see.
One person's traveling.
Right now we're learning the Movavi. We haven't got to the Ramah yet. We haven't.
No, because okay, fine. Okay,
No,
good.
your general halach is different. Like let's see, the father's trying. He's the father's away.
So the wife lights.
He's in Hong Kong. He's on a business trip in Hong Kong.
When my brother had a store, and I was staying there till 1, 2 in the morning sometimes, and my ex-wife used to light for me, and that was kosher according to the rabbi. So
we could. I mean, in the house, right?
So I was home. I couldn't come to very late. Just they lit for me. So the question is, why would this be a?
Okay, so but you were coming back to the house, right? So
Yes.
we're talking about someone who's traveling. Okay,
Not
and also the
I know,
example
it's
I got that the person's in Hong Kong is not so good because that's a different time zone.
That's right.
That's a
That's
very
right.
much more complicated
That's right.
question
That's
that
right.
the Mishna was going to be
That's
dealing
right.
with. But that.
But if there's in
complicates
America, in one way it works, right? In one way
it does work.
does work. Okay,
Certain times, but we're not going to get
Okay, right.
further.
Okay.
That's
Good enough.
details and that
Good
post-game have to deal with, right?
צריך לתת פרוטה לבעל הבית. He has to give a penny to the בעל הבית. להשתתף עמו to join with him. בשמש של נר חנוכה, with the oil of נר חנוכה.
Okay, so simple. Right now, everything's very simple. A person's a guest, right? He's not in his home right now. He's at somebody else's residence. He's a guest by them. Nobody in his house is lighting for him. Whatever they're doing, we don't know. But he knows clearly no one's lighting in his home for him. So he's reliant on the host to light for him. So he simply gives a certain minimal amount of money to the host, and he joins in with the oil that's used for the Ner Hanukkah.
Right, now, if you bring your own menorah, like we were at my son-in-law's house.
Right. Okay, so hold on. We'll see.
Just like,
Right, okay, so
My wife.
again, because that's where you might get a difference between the Machaber's Shita and the Ramah's Shita. According to the Machaber, only one person lights in the house. That may include even if his guests. But we'll see more details. But the Ramah might be different, where everyone who's in the house may light on their own. Now, Im Yesh Lo,
ואם יש לו פתח פתוח לעצמו, but if he has his own door, in other words, he rented a room, he has his own door, צריך להדליק בפתיתו, he has to open up, and he has to light by his door.
right, so let's say he has a guest room, and that guest room has a doorway which leads to the Rishus Rabin, right? So he should light at the doorway that leads to Rishus Rabin that his guest room allows him to have access
Is
to.
the normal door leading to the public, to the rest of the house?
Oh, so that was he doesn't have a doorway which leads to the
Only was just around the
right.
way.
But let's say he has a window that overlooks the Rishus Rabin, which is much more common. Let's see, he's on the second floor, a double-story home, very common in America. He has a guest room upstairs, and there's a very nice window overlooking the Rishus Rabin. Does that count as the same as a doorway?
As a better.
Possibly. We'll have to see. Just pay attention. Hopefully we'll get the answer to that.
אף על פי שאותו בית אינו מיוחד אלא לשינה, even though he's only using the house to sleep.
Now, there's a guest room upstairs, right? And
That's right.
there's no kitchen facilities over there. He's not eating there. He's eating other places. He's only sleeping there. But nevertheless, if he has a Pesach, a doorway which leads out to the Rosh Hashanah, he needs to light there at that Pesach which goes out to the Rosh Hashanah, even though he's just sleeping there. He's not eating there. Where is he eating?
Now, he's eating in that house.
He's eating in that house,
Right.
right?
Eating
But
in
he's
that house,
eating on the shulchan downstairs in the dining room.
In the main house. He's
In
in
the
the
main,
Baal
yeah,
Bait,
he's
yeah.
eating with the family in the main house, but his guest room only affords him quarters for sleeping, not quarters for eating.
Eating, right. Who adin leven ha'ochel etzel oven. That's the same thing with the son who eats in his father's house. That he would have to light. If he has a door to Rosh Hashanah.
He apparently, or he would, yeah.
And this,
So now-
is this a married son? He doesn't say.
We'll see
Okay.
what the Mishna. But again, this doesn't really seem to indicate what the Macabre taught us earlier.
That's
on,
right.
Right. The
One for all.
one for all. Right.
Haga.
Yeah.
Yesh Omer Zman Hazeh Shemadlikim B'fnei Mamash. It said these days that we light inside the house literally. Yadlik b'makom she'ochel v'chein na'ad. We should light in the place where you eat, and this is the minhag.
Right. Apparently, this Ramah is going on the last thing the Macabre
Right.
said that he lights by the Pesach, but no, since in our times you light on the inside anyway, so you light by the dining room where you eat.
So the guest would also light in the dining room.
The desk would also light by.
And with the Mechaber, would he agree on this one? Because that we don't light outside.
Okay. Good. Good.
And also, the issue of lighting where you're
Good
sleeping.
question. Yeah.
Lighting where you're sleeping.
And I didn't drink this
We don't
week.
consider lighting where you're sleeping.
Right, because he's only. But if he would eat and sleep in the same quarters, then he would light there. But since we light anywhere on the inside, so where you eat is going to tip the scales, and you should light where you eat rather than where you sleep. Okay. Let's see the Mishna Berura here.
Achsanya.
Yeah.
והוא הדין הבוחרים שלומדים שלא בביתם שצריכים להשתתף על כל פנים. And this is the law for boys who are learning in yeshiva and they're not home, that they have to join in any case.
Right. Now this is apparently the explanation according to the Macabre as well.
Right.
Right. Mishna was explaining the Macabre here. So you have Bachrim that it was very common before the yeshivas as they are today, where you have actually dormitories. But it used to be that they would have what they call the estancia. They would have the take. They would stay by people in the town, or the city, or the village, wherever they were learning, and they would be given room and board by the people, because the yeshivas didn't provide them any room and board. Now it's different in our times, but in those days they would live and be kept going with their sleeping and eating requirements from the people they stayed by. So therefore these people, the Bachrim that would be learning, right, there's no one lighting for them. Again, if someone's lighting for them in their house, apparently that would be good enough, right?
Yes.
But if no one's lighting for them in their house, whatever reasons might be, so then they would be mishtatef with the balabas.
You know the first yeshiva that created the drawing?
Lashon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, very good, thank you.
V'davka b'vocher she'ochel b'knat. This is only talking about a boy that who eats in his own room. Aval im hu samuch al shulchan Baal Bayit, but if he eats with the Baal Bayit, hu bichlad meneva, he's considered like he's part of the house. V'hu adim mishartav, same thing for the one who helps. Kevan shehem semuchim al shulchano, since they eat constantly with the Baal Bayit, medina ein tzarich lad, if they're calling halach, they don't have to light. Ela im kein dortza liot mina mehadrin, only if he wants to be mina mehadrin.
Right, so therefore, there you go. If they're going to be eating on their own, so then they don't have anything to be somer on, so they have to mishtatef with the balabais. But if they're eating, that makes them part of the family.
Right.
And once they become part of the family, so that reverts to the halacha that we learned earlier, that according to the Mechaber, the head of the household, he lights, one and only one,
Right.
and everyone else is subservient to him, and unless you want to get into the Mahadrin, but
in the second situation, he doesn't have to be money. Doesn't have to give money to.
doesn't have to be mishtatef.
That's part of, because the food is already makes him mishtatef.
Right, that makes him part of the household. Once he's part of the household, now he becomes subservient to the head of the household, usually the father, whoever might be in charge there, and the father takes care of his motzi, everybody with the kiyuv of Ner Hanukkah.
שאין מדליקים עליו בביתו, that he's not lighting in his house. כי מדינה כשאשתו מדליקה נר חנוכה בביתו, because according to the halacha, once the woman lights the candle in his house, הוא יוצא ידי חובתו, he's יוצא this thing, בהדלקה with her lighting. אבל אף שהוא במקום רחוק מביתו, even though he's far away from his house. ואין צורך שוב להשתתף אפילו בפריטה. And he doesn't have to even join with a pruta.
Right.
So
okay. So therefore, what we see right now, if a person's going to be away from home during Hanukkah, and he gives the instructions to his wife, right, to light for the sake of the household. So therefore, he in fact is included in the lighting which is taking place in the household, and therefore he has no need to light anymore. Right.
Does that imply if he's close to his house, maybe he should go back to the house?
Oh, we'll see later on. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but let's say people are eating at somebody else's house, right? And it comes time to light.
He lives across the street.
Right, or even in the same town. So we'll see that it is very most likely he should really go home to light. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now again, like I mentioned before, with different time zones, the poskim have to deal with the question of different time zones. Yeah.
So according to what he's saying, there's no reason for the first case that he's not agreeing with the Mechaber at all, that the guy should light on his own. Mm-hmm. Unless it's a Mahadrim, but if it is a fire technically, he doesn't have to light it up.
Meaning, according to what we understand,
in the Mishna of Berura right now.
Right, that under what circumstances would a person have to light on his own? Meaning, if he has no one to, now whether he should make someone to light, meaning they could light in his home, but not necessarily include him, right?
That's other people. We're saying if we're talking his wife is in the house. Once a wife is in the house, technically, unless you're in another time zone, she's going to be.
Well, that's a question. I'm not so sure about that.
Well, that's what he's saying here,
well. Let's look at the lashon again. Right, because it's near Ishu Beso, right?
Right.
And so who's the bias is taken care of?
That's
so
right.
my house is taken care of. I don't have to do anything more.
Right. So he's saying that even if he's very far away, the wife is going to light, and he's yotze that thing.
That's right.
So according to Mechaber, it seems that he's not agreeing with this. He's saying that the guy should either light where he is, or he should mishtatif with the balai.
Well, look again. It's an oxenoid. She'ein madlikin lo beso. He's saying straight away.
Okay.
But if they would be lighting, what the Mishna was explaining, if they would be lighting for him, right, then this doesn't apply. Exactly.
Okay.
Good.
The ayim titaz b'shem rasha, the dafka kishehu yodea beviur sheishto madlaket lav. When he knows for sure that his wife is lighting for him. Aval im eno yedash, if he doesn't know, yesh lo la'adlik v'gam lebrach. He's not sure. Then he has to light and make a bracha.
Right. So if for some reason he's not sure, even apparently on the suffix, even on the suffix, which is a chiddush, right? He has to light, but the big chiddush is he makes a bracha too, even on the suffix.
Right.
And say maybe you should light it without a suffix. Lama is a chiddush.
What do you have to?
Mitam zeh.
Yep.
Mi shelo yada sheidliku alav. Somebody wasn't sure that they lit for him,
right.
And he came home and they found that they did not light. That they lit, he has to light again because he's not sure that they got him yotze.
What's the shehediku olav?
Yeah.
Does that mean they lit for him?
That seems to be meaning they had in mind to light for him. Meaning, let's say he had left no instructions, right? Really, if a person is going to find himself in such a situation, you should leave instructions. You should include me in the lighting, or you should certainly not include me in the lighting. So that you don't have a situation of suffix. Because here we're having, let's say a person, he was, let's say at a chasana up in Haifa or something that night, and he left like 3 o'clock in the afternoon to go to the chasana, came back, it's 3 in the morning or something like that, perhaps. And now he comes home, and everyone's sleeping, and he doesn't know if they had in mind, because he didn't think about telling them to light for him. So now he is in doubt whether or not they lit for him. So what should he do in such a case like that? Go ahead.
It's meaning that you know from the beginning. Perhaps he was thinking of lighting himself, and then he wasn't thinking of being Yosef by his wife. And then the Takanacham falls on him. That in this situation, he should light without a bracha.
Very good. You see this question, the bracha.
What does it mean?
Okay, good. Let's go. Let's just review the lashon one more time. Okay, let's say like this. He knows clearly that he knows that the wife is lighting for him as well, right? But if he doesn't know, he's in doubt, he should light and also make a bracha. For this reason, a person who doesn't know if they lit for him, and he comes home that night, and he sees that they had lit, and he needs to light. Why? Since he didn't know initially whether they included him in the lighting or not. They said, well, the father, he's coming back later tonight. They probably said the father wants to do the mitzvah himself. So we can assume that they probably wanted the father to light for himself, even though they themselves lit, right?
But it's right here, she did well, they didn't have him in mind.
They did light. They lit the menorah, right? The menorah was lit.
What's the alav?
For him also.
That could be. I'm not sure that lashon. It didn't say. Hey, shehidlik b'shvilo. He didn't say they lit for. Maybe alav. It was meaning in the house. The house it was lit there. That lashon. I'm not sure what that shehidlik alav. He mentioned that lashon previously also. I was bothered by that lashon. Hidlik alav. Is hidlik alav meaning specifically for him, right? Or hidlik alav? See, go back. It says dafka a couple lines above. B'shem roshal. I am the taz b'shem roshal. Dafka b'shehu yodeh b'bur sheishu madlekis alav. What's this lashon madlekis alav? That's something you have to see really truly. You have to see the taz. You have to see the Taz. We don't have a Shulchan Aruch here in full, but it's upstairs. I don't have time to do that today. You have to take a look, even to go back and to see the Rashal. You have to see the Makor to understand clearly what the lashon is referring to, because it's not clear to me exactly what
Looks
the
like it's
lashon
in the menorah.
Yeah, but the question
because
is,
it's used twice in the same sentence.
Yeah.
He said, "Mi shemo yedei shehidliku alav."
Right.
That's when we let it.
Right, but
And then he comes, and at the same night in his house, and he finds that they let it.
Right. Right. So why they could have said Umatzah Shehidlik? You could have said Umatzah Shehidlik. I could have said if he found that they lit. They sees the wicks there that they're they sees that there are 6 tonight. You come back 3 o'clock to say there's 6, right? So obviously they lit that night, but he doesn't know if they did. So but the lashon Hidlik alav, I'm not 100% sure what that's referring to.
It says beforehand. It says Dilafka Shu Yedea. Berura it's lotion here. It says he knows for sure that his wife lit for him. Then it says and after a few lines, what's Hidlik alav? It doesn't say Berura here.
Right. Umatzah Shehidlik alav.
So he doesn't know.
Right. So what is so?
So that's the question he has on the Allah. That's the question.
Yeah, the question. If he knows that they lit for him, so.
Before it says Berura story, here it doesn't say Berura.
Right.
So it's just they lit a lot on him. Doesn't mean that it was for him.
Well, maybe it was they lit in the house. He sees they lit in the house.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
It could have said as follows, perhaps. Umatzah Shehidlik, right? Umatzah Shehidlik, and he found it. He found that they lit. Right?
Alav could have been they lit on his house.
Yeah, it could be referring to the house.
It's
If
just
he's
the
looking
same
for the house.
lashon. It's just using the same lashon. That's
Yeah, I
all.
know, but the question is...
Alav, that's
Alav.
all he's being.
Right, but what is it?
Consistently, that's all.
Yeah, but it's throwing me off. I don't know because if it's known that they lit for him,
Yeah.
so I know that they lit for
Then I
him.
think that's up to light. But he's saying here that he has to light. The next part of the thing after Allah is tzarich ladlik. Yes, it's not that
That's when he's
question.
not sure that the Berura that the.
Okay, it's
Not
not
for
for
him.
right. Okay,
It
so
doesn't say Berura here.
right, right.
So even if they lit for him, he still has to light according to this lashon over the second one.
Yes, but the question is why?
Why?
If they lit
That's
for him,
right.
why should it be that way?
That's right.
Right.
That's right. It's a good question.
I don't know.
No, so you could say the chema, because it could be that either he decided when they were lighting at the time that he was going to go home and light, or when they lit, they said, he's going to want to lit. So they probably both of them had a suffix of whether to, unless he checks it out. So if he didn't check it out, he has to relight to be on the safe side.
Right. But but his house they lit in the house.
But
Right?
he was saying here that he Misha.
That they had
They
him
came
in
and shelo yada
That's the question.
mitchila. He didn't know from the beforehand
Right,
that they
didn't know
that
initially,
they-
didn't know
So
initially.
if they didn't know for instance, then he himself is saying, you know what? When I go, he could have been saying at that point, when I go home, I'll light. So he's not yotze anymore with what the woman did in the house.
Right.
And then if he came home and did it, then it could that they lit for him. But he still had the idea that he was going to light on his own, so he's still not yotze with that one. He has to do it again. That's what it means. Because right away it says, because right away it says sarich lahad, that it says he has to light right away, even though she lit for him, he has to lit. And the next, the keman shelo yada mitchila, because it wasn't agreed when he left the house what happened. Once that happened.
The only way he would know that she lit for him is if he told her before he left.
That's right. That's exactly what it's
If he
saying
didn't tell
here.
her
And
then-
because that
then-
didn't
and she-
happen,
and
he
she's
has to light
sleeping,
again.
So right. So he has to light.
That's the way I understood it. I mean, maybe.
Did we learn earlier that the chiyuv is on the house to have light? So it could be the husband or the wife or your son, whoever you appoint. Nobody was appointed. But he comes home and the chiyuv is met because there's light in the house. So why are we requiring him?
No, there's a light in the house, but he himself has to.
No, but we said earlier.
So-
You mean we have to say that the balabayit has to do it rather than unless he designates the wife to do it for the balabayit. So it's a balabayit in the house.
Clearly,
Because otherwise it
if
wouldn't matter.
you hold like the stam halakha, which is one candle per house per night, then the fact that a lighting took place is parted from anything else. He has to do.
The question is, look what the Mishna Berura says here. The Mishna Berura is continuing. Kevan shlo yada mitchila, since he didn't know initially, right? Mistama haya daito shadik be'atzmo. Since he didn't know initially if they would be lighting for them, so his das was that he's going to light for himself. Below here it says b'shel ishto. I mean, she did light. The house was covered, right? But he, because he didn't know, he
That's right.
took himself out
Out
of that
of the picture, that's
field,
right.
out of that picture.
That's right.
Since he took himself out of that picture, it falls upon him that the kana of the chachamim, even though the house lit.
Okay, what's the takana chacham? That was the
That he has to
question.
say. That he has to light.
Like now, even though that the house was lit, right? Avraham shadaitu b'zeh shadik
Yeah,
b'lo
you can take yourself out. It makes
Right.
sense.
No, I mean, okay, but supposing he was a guest in the house.
We're not talking about a guest in the
Another
house.
house, and he came home. So the man of the house where he was at as a guest lit for him. Then he came home and he saw
If
that
he lit for him,
that
then
the
there's
candles
no
were lit
problem.
in his
No.
house.
If somebody lit for him, then I don't think this applies.
If he knew,
Right, but if he
that
didn't know it,
No.
but if he
His
didn't know
question
it,
is different. His question is he was in somebody else's house.
He gave the guy
And he gave a
pruta.
pruta,
Right.
and he was yotze with the other guy. When he comes back, he doesn't have to light. That's not the situation.
right, because the
Situation
lights
is
for the house. Right, when
because
when
he
comes
was in
back-
the house, he was yotze with the other guy. But that's not the situation here. The situation doesn't say he was lit anywhere else. The situation is that he went out. He was in the marketplace. He was at a meeting somewhere downtown. Okay, in an office, and the wife lit, and they didn't talk ahead of time that she's going to be yotze. So then
She went to bed
he has to
Didn't
light
light
again.
anywhere else.
He has to light again. That's the situation we're talking. We're not talking here that there was any contact or any that he lit anywhere else. Because if he did, then we wouldn't be after.
So what is more important? Is it upon him to light, or is it the house that he's the balabayit of? If somebody else lights
there's
it,
two
It sounds like
parts,
the Rabbanim have placed two
That's right.
chiyuvim. There's a chiyuv on the house and a chiyuv on
On
the
the
gala.
individual.
okay?
Right,
So-
and you
so-
have to have both.
You have to have both. It could be done at one time. If the balabayas lights, then he's fulfill both at the same
That's
time.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
If
Okay,
he
so
doesn't
then-
light, then, and somebody else lights in the house, excuse me, that takes care of the house as part of the
But
obligation.
not him.
But it has to be resolved unless he knows.
Okay.
That is, that his obligation,
Right,
his
okay.
individual obligation has to be taken care of.
That's right.
And he has to,
Right.
then,
That's right.
he has to do that at
Very
some
good.
point.
Then he,
Very good.
then
For
he has to
instance.
light, right.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to visit my daughter in shul this afternoon, and I'll be there candle lighting time.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to light there, or when I come back to Yerushalayim, I'll light when I get, if I don't light there, when I come back to Yerushalayim, even though my son will already have lit in the apartment I'm staying in, I'll light again when I come back to Yerushalayim.
It's
You're
under your
lighting your own
mitzvah.
anyway, you're lighting your, you've been lighting your own.
Right?
Right, right.
So you're not
Yes.
included in his lighting.
That's right. Last night, I was at my daughter's house, and we lit there, but then we came home the same night, and we lit again. So I.
With a bracha or without a bracha?
That was here for the house, and he came back, he had to light for the house.
For that? No,
Right,
but if
okay.
you, but no, but
I
if it was
made-
Yotze with a pruta, then it doesn't make a bracha.
My wife lit in my name, and I think she did the bracha again, so she shouldn't have done that.
I don't know. It's the
Bracha is complicated, yeah, bracha is
Right,
complicated.
so
He
if we
liked
did a
that.
bracha at the house where we were staying, we should have lit at our house without the bracha.
That's right.
Why don't we say that when he came home and the lights were lit by his wife, he surely knows that they did not include him. How could he surely know that his wife,
Yeah, they asked
Oh,
him.
'cause
a
he
nice,
did.
a nice from lady, did the
Yeah.
candles and she said, no, I'm excluding my husband.
No,
Doesn't
because
make sense.
she wants him to do the mitzvah himself. He knows he loves the mitzvah so much, he wants to do it himself.
And also, at the time of lighting, we don't know that they had it in mind. We don't know at the time of lighting, that's the other
But
problem.
no wife
At the time of lighting, he had it in
specifically
mind.
exclude her husband because she wanted, what the rabbi said. She
You
said,
gotta
okay,
ask.
Mitzvah Shem will continue this tomorrow. You're in the middle of it.
Okay, I gotta go.
Mitzvah Shem.